AITAH for not telling my fiancée about my peanut allergy? She's giving me the silent treatment. Advice needed. Me and my fiancée Kate both have life-threatening, anaphylactic allergies, mine to peanuts, and hers to peanuts and dairy products, milk, cream, cheese, etc. I told her I could, and we agreed to prepare all our meals at home from scratch, free from peanuts and dairy. Kate then went on about how her allergies affect every aspect of her life, from eating out to getting proper nutrition. I was going to tell her about my own peanut allergy, but an important work call interrupted us. After that, the topic never explicitly came up again. For me, food allergies are just something we live with, not my entire identity. We stuck to our peanut and dairy-free diet at home. I would occasionally have milk and pizza when out, but I made sure to gargle before kissing Kate, though, to avoid any cross-contamination. Fast forward a year, and we got engaged. During the engagement party, my aunt mentioned to Kate that I'm also anaphylactic to peanuts. Kate went silent. At home, she confronted me and asked why I had kept this a secret from her. She accused me of prolonged, sustained deception. I was dumbfounded. I hadn't lied. I just never brought it up since it didn't seem relevant. Kate has been giving me the silent treatment for the past few days, and our relationship is suffering because of this. First comment, I had a roommate with a tree nut allergy. It wasn't life-threatening, but he did have an EpiPen, and obviously anaphylaxis isn't a pleasant experience even if it's minor anaphylaxis. He made sure everyone in the house knew about his nut allergy. Because it wasn't life-threatening, we were allowed to have nuts in the house. But since we knew about the allergy, we were much better about immediately cleaning up messes involving nut products, properly sanitizing dishes, which I do anyways, obviously, but I'd spend more time on dishes when nuts were involved in a meal, making sure to tell him if things made for the house were safe for him. I use a lot of nuts in different forms, and he never had an allergic reaction while he was my roommate, because I knew about the allergy, so I could be extra cautious. Like, I have an almond protein powder I use sometimes. If I spill a bit on the counter, I'll normally just brush it off into the trash and sanitize the counters when I get around to it. But when I lived with someone with an allergy, I'd sanitize the area immediately, so there was no chance of him putting his food down in invisible almond dust and then accidentally consuming it. The people who have access to your food, or who make food where you make food, need to be aware of food allergies. Second comment, AITAH. What if she, your friends, had decided to get you a treat that you couldn't enjoy with her allergies, and it contained peanuts? What if you went to a party, she disclosed her allergy, you didn't because I don't need to make it a part of my identity. So the host gave you something that had peanuts, or even peanut oil in it. What if you went to a restaurant and ate something and found out it actually had peanuts in it? This happened to my Bill. Turned out what he ate was stuffed with something he was deathly allergic to. She wouldn't know you were allergic to anything, or would think you didn't know what you were allergic to. Does she even know where you keep your EpiPen? Do you carry an EpiPen? If you went to the hospital and they asked her if you were allergic to anything, and she said no, only to find out that you were allergic to peanuts, she'd feel pretty stupid. This is important medical information your future spouse needs to know. Why do you talk down about her as if she's one of those annoying people that make themselves a victim because they have an allergy? She went on about how her allergies affect every aspect of her life, from eating out to getting proper nutrition. For me, food allergies are just something we live with, not my entire identity. The topic never explicitly came up again. You're telling me that for the rest of the time as you're cooking from scratch, or she's explaining her allergies to those that don't know, that's the conversation never coming up again? Did the important work call steal your tongue? Because after you hung up was the perfect time to bring it up. Or any time in the next year that you were dating. Just like you can start a conversation about your day, you could have started a conversation about how you're also anaphylactic to peanuts. I was dumbfounded. I hadn't lied. I just never brought it up since it didn't seem relevant. This is called lying by omission. How would you feel if you found out something about her that you didn't know, that she never brought up because she doesn't think it's relevant? She knows she's brought up her allergies plenty of times, which has given you plenty of opportunities to bring up yours. Yet you didn't. Now she's wondering why. What other motives could you have for not bringing it up? What else aren't you telling her? Her trust in you is cracked. Third comment, I can't imagine this being real. How does one person hear that someone they're dating has the same allergy as them and not immediately say, I too have that allergy, or even if it's a different allergy, but the same severity, i.e. anaphylaxis? Then, going an entire year, agreeing to marry this person, and they somehow don't know you have an EpiPen for your own allergy? AITAH have an EpiPen for stinging insects. It's something that I have always brought up when dating someone new. I also want to ensure that in the case of an emergency, they know what to do. If I started dating someone and mentioned this, I can't imagine someone who has an EpiPen, for whatever reason, not telling me about their allergy. Edit 2, she asked if I were okay to deal with them. I told her I could, and we agreed to blah blah blah. Why didn't you immediately respond to that question with, of course I can deal, as I too am allergic to peanuts? Why is this post angering me so much? It's like Banu from this season of Survivor. The amount of idiocy is hurting my brain. Seen is how your post history has stories of how you lied to get a job, and worked a job you hated wearing your old job's logo, getting the credit and recognition to a company you no longer work for. I'd say she's not wrong if she's thinking this might be a recurring personality flaw, and is questioning if this is the kind of person she wants to marry. Fourth comment, yeah, AITAH. You realize people with allergies who make other people do things to avoid them usually feel guilty. Like if a group of friends goes out and one person can't eat something so they can't go to a restaurant a couple people suggested, normally the person who said they can't go and causes plans to change feels guilty. So once you found out she had an allergy, you left her alone, and she spent the entire relationship feeling like every time you have to deal with her allergy, that she's making you sacrifice, like she's guilty you can't eat something with peanuts, or food she thinks you might want but can't because of her. You let her carry an entire relationship of guilt and mental load for forcing you to avoid peanuts, because you didn't tell her. I get the vibe that you know this, and that's why you took the opportunity to never tell her, because suddenly she's the reason you can't have nuts, and takes the blame with friends and others for avoiding places, or not having foods in your house or being careful. Fifth comment, AITAH. That's a pretty important health issue that you neglected to share with one, someone who lives with her own very severe life-threatening allergy, and two, someone to whom you plan to spend the rest of your life with. I can't understand the logic of why you wouldn't have brought up your severe life-threatening allergy after you finished your work call, or shortly thereafter. Or any freaking time, actually. Did you really have a call from your work, or was that a convenient excuse? Why didn't you trust her enough to tell her about your shared allergy? Did you think she would never find out? You're damn lucky she didn't find out about your deceit on her wedding day, or you would be looking at more than just the silent treatment. I can't help but wonder whatever else you're keeping from her. And I'm willing to bet she is, too. Or do you plan to keep your dairy excursions a secret also, until someone else happens to bring up yet another aspect of your life you've been hiding? If you truly love this woman, I strongly suggest you open yourself up to her about everything, and get the help you need. Or if not, then have the decency to let her live her life without someone who has a distant relationship with the truth.